and KFAB.
Schrock Innovations presents Nebraska's #1 independent computer repair company with offices in Omaha and Lincoln. This is Compute This.
Alrighty, folks, welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company with 3 service centers that can help you out when your computer's not working right, when it won't turn on, when you need to get that data recovered from your failed hard drive, or maybe your business needs a website. We do it all over at Schrock. Also, just a heads up, if you want to, people who are in radio are typically in radio for a reason, if you know what I mean. The saying, I have a face for radio, didn't come out of nowhere. But if you wanted to, you could pop in now on Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations and check out the live video feed to see, what's going on in the studio. So I'm going to bring it up right now myself because I like to follow along and see the comments that you guys are posting on there, because sometimes people post questions directly to the Facebook feed. It can be difficult to get in sometimes on the air because, we only have a few, so many phone lines and they fill up. So if you want to get a question in on the program, the number to dial today is 402-558-1110 or 800-543-1110. If you can get through on the phone lines, just chill out on hold there. We'll get to you. I promise. I move really quickly to calls once we have them on hold. But if you hear me talking a lot, not taking calls, it's because I don't have any to take. So there we go. Audio and video are great. Perfect. That's what I love. Thank you, Winston, the unofficial audio tech for the Compute This radio program. All right. So we got some fun stuff to do today. We got some serious stuff to do today. All around good times. So here's the deal. Number one. We have some of our Facebook fans are gonna recognize the name Lynn from our Facebook feed. Lynn is always on our Facebook page. When we post something, she is almost always the first person to like it. I don't know if this is her or not, but there was a Lynn that was involved in an automotive accident, and she's in critical condition in Omaha a few days ago. And so I took a moment to message Lynn just to make sure she was okay, and I have not heard back. So if you have a moment this morning, if you could keep Lynn in your prayers and pray for a speedy recovery for her, if it is in fact, I guess pray for a speedy recovery for her, whether it's our Lynn or not. If she's not our Lynn, we don't have to pray for her, right? You know what I'm saying. It's like you never want to have a scenario where somebody gets hurt like that and is in critical condition. We want to make sure that we're supporting her in the same way that she's supported us for a very long time at Schrock Innovation. So that was some serious stuff there. We got that out of the way. Now, not so serious stuff today, as in this solar day of the year, where the sun moves up in the east and down in the west as the Earth rotates on its axis, is the final day for the endpoint sale. So if you missed last week, because maybe you were on vacation or whatever, we have endpoint on sale right now. Instead of the normal $160 price, it is $60 off. Now, there were some comments on Facebook about it over the weekend from some of our listeners that were like, I've never seen it on special for this price before. This is crazy. This is insane. It is crazy. It is insane. The funny thing is we did the same sale last year. But hey, I probably shouldn't point things like that out. But no, the endpoint is normally $160. Now, Semantic Endpoint is the Cadillac of antivirus software. It's the best you can get. And normally in life, we deal with the same thing when people buy computers, right? They come into the store and they say, I need to buy a computer. I don't want to buy a really fancy computer because I don't need that much computing. Now, I just want to get this cheaper one over here. So, you can buy the cheaper one sometimes and you can get away with it. But eventually, in cars, that can work because it gets you from point A to point B. That's the core function of a car, right? Whether you buy the Ford Focus or you buy the brand new Lincoln, which, boy, those look sharp. But I just can't bring myself to spend $70,000 on a sedan. My dad probably feels the same way about $30,000 for a car, It's like, back in my day, I'm getting old enough now that I'm like, good golly, who would spend that much money? But some people do, apparently. Not so much going forward, though. Watch the used car market. Prices are going to get really good for used cars in the next 6 months. Mark me. But again, we're not a financial show. The funny thing, though, is when it comes to computers, if you try to buy the cheapest computer, it's going to come back to bite you. Because what ends up happening is in 18 months or so, the software never stops improving. It never stops getting more complex. And as it gets more complex and asks your computer to do more things, your computer runs slower because it doesn't get more resources. And just like at your job, because, this booming economy, at your job, as people around you were let go as part of administrative cuts, the amount of work that you had to do went up. But you didn't really get a raise, and you didn't get more resources. They didn't allow you to work more hours, no overtime. They didn't give you a helper, because that would defeat the purpose of firing the other guy. They just expected you to do the work. Well, guess what? You can get it done, but everything's going to get done a little bit slower. You may miss a deadline, or you may not quite get it done as fast because it's just you. The resources didn't change, but the workload did. That happens every single month. We're coming up on Patch Tuesday here. Patch Tuesday is the second Tuesday of every month, and that's going to be the 13th of June here. So that's the 11th today. That's 2 days from now. We're going to all get Windows updates. It'll make all of our computers do a little bit more than they did the day before. It's going to push all of our Cox data caps over. I am already at 85% of my data cap. What the snot son of a building block? What is... I hate this. This is so ridiculous because, I feel like I'm not doing... We cut back all the kids streaming. Like, we make them watch the Disney Channel now because they can't stream their cartoons from Amazon or Netflix anymore. When I go home, I turn my phone on LTE mode so it's not on the Wi-Fi. So as it updates things, or I download audiobooks, or I browse the web from my phone, I'm not using data anymore. And my wife and I looked at each other yesterday and we said, what are we doing? We pay an ungodly amount. We pay Cox almost $300 a month. And now we're actively avoiding using what we're paying for? Oh, if there was only a high-speed option aside from Cox right now that was as good as Cox, because there's not, unfortunately. You want the speed that Cox offers, you go with Cox. That's it. In Lincoln, same thing. If you want the speed that a cable modem offers, you go with Spectrum. It's not that everybody else is bad. It's just their service is reliable. It's just they don't have the speed that cable modems do. Oh my goodness, so frustrating. But I digress. So when you're looking at endpoint antivirus software, it is the best of the best. The reason you want to go with the best of the best, this is one of those times when you want to go on. Oh, thank God. Lynn just posted on Facebook. Oh, I'm so glad, Lynn. I mean, I'm so happy. The lovely Kimberly and I were like, she messages me and she was like, oh my gosh. And she tells me all about it. And then we found out that the pastor at our church, their son, was in driver's ed that day. And he drove past that Lynn before she was hit. So if he had been a couple minutes later, it could have been a kid in a driver's ed car. I mean, she got hit by a pickup truck. But Lynn, we're very, 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 very glad that it wasn't you. Yeah, Ron, Ron is saying on Facebook here that he pays $75 a month for 1 gig of internet. Yeah, you can get the price is fine. It's like the price for the all of their plans are 1 gig or one terabyte. And you don't have gigabit speed. Come on now. No, I checked because the only way you can get away from the Cox data cap is to go to that gigabit stuff. All the customers called us and said, hey, I want to get the internet that allows me to strap like robotic hips on and dance with my grandchildren. Or I want the internet that allows me to print food that I can eat. Internet doesn't allow you to do those things. But the Cox commercials are so, it confused people. They called in, they wanted this. It's not available in Omaha. Google Fiber, not available in Omaha. So maybe Ron is not in Omaha, but if I was in Kansas City, I'd be on Google Fiber in a heartbeat. No joke. So Endpoint is the Cadillac of antivirus software because it keeps your computer safe morning, noon, and night. It keeps your computer safe even when you try to turn it off. It still keeps your computer safe and lets you know, hey, I'm turned off, but something's trying to get in. You sure you want me not to block that? Oh my goodness, yes, I better do that. Go. Okay, perfect. So it's the best you can get. Now, the reason that this is one of the times you want to go with the best that you can get is because if something gets through your antivirus filter and infects your computer, it can cost you up to $200 to get it fixed per incident. So let's say you're running McAfee, or the free stuff that your internet service provider gives you, which is usually McAfee, a stripped down version of McAfee, or AVG, or Avast, or what's the one that the Mart sells? I can't think of it now. Some Secure IT, especially if you're running Secure IT. If you're running any of those programs and something gets through and infects your computer and you come into my shop and you pay the money to get your computer fixed, the next thing we're going to tell you is whatever infected you, obviously got through your antivirus filter. So are you really sure you want to just take it home with the same antivirus filter? Because there's no warranty on virus infections, because you can get reinfected again the moment you go home. Are you sure you don't want to get endpoint now? And then people sometimes say no, and then they go home, and then a month later they come back and, you didn't do your job because I'm still infected. My computer was never clean. We know that they went home and got reinfected, but we're not mean enough to say that. So what we say is, tell you what, we'll go ahead and clean it again for free for you as long as you agree to buy the endpoint this time. And so it's like, we're not calling anybody out. We're not being meanies. We're just saying, okay, this is not a situation. We don't need to. Yeah, let's just get you cleaned up again, and then you put endpoint on, and guess what? They don't get infected again. So, a lot of you have endpoint. I know I'm kind of preaching to the choir, not to make a Sunday morning reference here, but for those of you who don't have endpoint, this is your opportunity to get an amazing piece of antivirus software for $60 off. You can get it in the service center. If you bring your computer in, all three of my shops, June is our slow time of year, so all three shops have open bench spots right now. You can walk in the door and get your computer right up on the bench. Number two, if you don't want to bring it in today because you have plans, maybe you're doing the garden walk like the lovely Kimberly. There's no aftershock today, by the way, guys. I got to get home I'm on kid duty because my wife's going to the garden walk. So you might see her out there. She'll be the one in the hat. the big sun hat. Yeah, that one. Yeah, the tan one. Yeah, there you go. But basically, so no aftershock today. But when you get endpoint on your computer, you can get it for $60 off right now. You can get it in the service center. You can go to the website at SchrockInnovations.com, and you can literally purchase Semantic Endpoint from our website. Download it to your computer and install it yourself. We built a custom installation program that does all the configurations for you. It sets it up. It gets it added to our system so that everything is kosher pickles, and it even sets you up for an auto renew if you want it to. So you can do that on the website at SchrockInnovations.com. The third option that you've got is you can obviously have it done over the Schrock desk. You can call us at the service center, any of the three service centers, and we'll get on a Schrock desk with you and install the Semantic Endpoint remotely. So we take control of your computer. Well, you give us control. We don't take. You give. You basically let us in, and so you put in a code, and it's very secure. We can't get in once you kick us out again, or once we leave, we can't come back in. But we can uninstall your old stuff, which is really important to do. You don't want to run two antivirus programs. We can uninstall the old stuff, put the new stuff in, and get it up and going. Nope, Sai, it got choppy on my end here too. I'm watching the feed here too, and it's chopping a little bit. I'm on the Wi-Fi in here. There's no direct wired connection, so I'm literally streaming video on a Wi-Fi. So once in a while we might get a little chop. So bear with us as that happens there. All right. The replay, though, should not have chop because I believe my computer stores the cache and then makes sure it all gets through. So I don't know if that means like when you're watching live, if it goes like super fast, like and then catches back up. I don't know. Kind of like when your computer's low on resources and you're typing and the cursor stops moving, and then all of a sudden it's like bing, and it's all done. All right, 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. First caller of the show today is Doyle. Doyle, how can I help you on Compute This?
Well, I think I heard one time about a way to make your laptop screen your keyboard.
Your laptop screen into your keyboard?
Yeah, to make your laptop screen your keyboard.
Yep. Do you have a touch screen on your computer?
No, that's something I don't know.
Well, if you don't have a touch screen, you wouldn't want to do that.
Okay.
Because, well, I suppose you could still use your mouse to click on the keys on the screen. But if you have a touch screen, the computer, Windows 10 is smart enough to detect that you do have a touch screen, and it's going to, in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, it is going to give you a keyboard right next to your clock, a little keyboard symbol. Okay. And you can click on that keyboard symbol, and it'll bring the on-screen keyboard up for you.
All right.
So that's how you'd bring it up if you needed to.
Okay. Then there's another question.
Okay, fire away.
If I sign in on Gmail at an unsecured spot, how much information can they get? Can they just see only what you're doing, or can they go back and see all your emails that were sent?
Gotcha. Well, the biggest threat when you're on an unsecured network, now most Gmail users are now using the secure socket layer of Gmail. I believe Google redirects you to the secure socket layer now. So you go to www.gmail.com and it goes whoop to the secure socket layer. Once it's on the secure socket layer, everything that you send over the internet connection is encrypted until it gets to Gmail. So even if you're on an open Wi-Fi, encrypted secure communications are all right. It's the unsecured ones you want to watch out for. And yes, anything on an unsecured connection that's sent over the Wi-Fi, and like at a Panera, for example, can be intercepted because other people are on the same Wi-Fi. They have the same access to the communications that you do. So that stuff can be intercepted by, anybody on the network. On the other hand, the biggest thing you want to worry about is passwords. So when you're logging in and you're using a password to log in, if it's an unsecured connection, somebody can grab your password. Website owners, this is why Google is requiring websites that have logins, usernames and password logins, to force users now to have secure socket layers. So if you have a website that has a login page, which almost every website does, even if it's just a login to let you update the site, and you don't have a secure socket layer, you're going to eventually have a big red not safe symbol in the top left corner of the screen for everybody who goes to your website. So it's just for that same reason. They don't want people losing their passwords. But no, as long as as far as Gmail goes and Facebook goes, you're okay. They both run on secure socket layers. Other stuff, can't be sure. Online banking, usually okay. Credit card stuff, usually okay. But just to be on the safe side, it's always good to make sure that you're on a secure socket layer. Look for that green padlock up in the top left corner or the green safe bar to make sure that you're okay before you type in any usernames or passwords.
All righty. That answers. Thank you.
Thank you. No sweat, Doyle. Have a great afternoon. 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. All right, looks like the video is catching up. I apologize to those listening on Facebook right now. It looks like we had a little video glitch there where we dropped a whole bunch of frames. But the video appears to be, I can see myself moving again now, so that's a good sign. I am animate again as opposed to inanimate. That's always a win on a Sunday morning. All right, 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. You can also email the program, Thor, Thor, at SchrockInnovations.com. Thor, Thor, at SchrockInnovations.com. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the program. When we come back, we got some interesting stuff to cover with you today on the show. Number one, Windows is saying they have a ransomware-proof version of Windows now, that you can buy a computer that is guaranteed to be ransomware-proof. So we're going to tell you about that. Also, if you have an Android smartphone, there is a new vulnerability that is allowing, for one of the first times ever, viruses to be directly injected into your Android smartphone. That's not good. We don't want to have that happen. So we got to make sure that gets taken care of. Also, coming up on the show, if we have time, we have articles about how overpriced is Apple's new MacBook Pro. It starts at $5,000. Let me put that in perspective. The holiday special is $1,499. Now, granted, this thing's got some crazy stuff in it. You can go. It starts at $4,999, and that's for the low end model. So we'll tell you about that if we have time. Also, a lot of us, if you have already gotten the Windows 10 Creators Update, you'll see some new stuff there, and we're going to go over that with you. And if you have not seen it, I'm going to tell you why you haven't seen it. So we got some interesting stuff coming up on the show, and of course, your calls. Dale, hang on the line with us. Your call is coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations has Omaha's only fully equipped data recovery center. Call 934-9423 the next time your hard drive, iPod, camera card, or flash drive stops working, and let Schrock get your data back.
They don't give me a hard line connection to cable into, and even if I did have one, it would all be on their network and I would be all secure and everything. I probably wouldn't be able to do what I needed to do. But they do graciously give me a Wi-Fi, and it is even 802.11n, unlike the one in Lincoln that I do, where it's an 802.11g connection. We tried running a live stream. That's why we don't live stream the Saturday show, because, well, number one, too much live streaming, it loses. It's not special anymore. If you're doing it every day, it's not special anymore. Number two, on an 802.11, this problem that we had just a little bit ago with the video, like chunking, that was the whole show. It was that bad, the whole show. And then the router would die, and they'd have to go reboot it during a commercial break. Yeah, so we'd lose entire segments of the program. It's pretty nuts. So anyway, thanks for joining us today, Lynn. I'm really happy to hear that you're okay. We were freaked out. Honestly, it reverberated through the staff at Schrock that Lynn may be hurt, and everybody knows who you are. So we appreciate your activity on the Facebook page, and we're very, very thankful that you're okay. So even if you weren't active on the Facebook page, we'd appreciate, or we would like the fact that you're okay. But it just kind of helps a little that, you're super duper active on our Facebook page too. All right, so we're moving through things here, and I can see that the audio, the delay is pretty significant because I just took my headphones off for the commercial break, and I've been talking for a good minute here. So back and looking good now. Well, thank you. My shirt is not purple. This shirt is gray. Let me see if I can. Let's do this. I won't be able to see the results for about a minute, but it should look gray. Is it gray? I don't know. Now that, or you just got a really up close look at my face. But I don't know, the light in here does something to shirts, but we're going back on, so I got to get going. Sit tight, everybody, and we're got a lot of ground to cover and about half a show to do it. So we'll have a quick segment here, just for about 7 minutes. We'll probably see if we can get Dale's call in, and then I'll tease all those stories again that I teased before we went into the last break, because that's just how you have to roll in radio. We got to keep you listening through the break, and then we'll make Compute This great again when we come back next.
Want a fast sandwich, you have to go someplace else. Why would we sell sandwiches?
I don't know. All this fast talking is strangely familiar. Schrock Innovations. If you want a fast sandwich, don't go there. But if you want your computer fixed and back on your desk fast, give them a call or visit their website at SchrockInnovations.com.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock, and I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Now, here's the thing. June is our slow time of year. So if you've got one of those maintenance checkup certificates, the ones you prepaid for, those are getting ready to expire. They're expiring in the next month, I think. So make sure you get that into our service center and get your preventative maintenance checkup. Once they expire, they're gone. So bring it on, and they're a coupon you're buying. They're not a gift certificate, so they do expire. So make sure you bring it in. Schrock Innovations, we have 3 locations. 27th and Pine Lake Road in Lincoln, the original. 168th and Burke in Omaha. In Omaha, right across the street from the Village Point Mall, where the rent is a little bit cheaper. Also in Papillion, 27th. Well, I can't talk today. In Papillion, it's the Lincoln address. In Omaha, it's the Papillion address. Everything is Papillion. It's because we're moving the Papillion Service Center in December. And so I'm trying to tell everybody that it's going to move. Everyone's like, "Oh, is it going out of business? We saw that your bay was up on LoopNet, and like, no, we're moving in December. The landlord there and I could not come to an agreement on a rent rate, given everything in the area that's going on and everything. So we just said, you know what, maybe it's time that we move. We're got a couple options. I can't go into too much detail on those live on the air, but those of you who listened to last week's Aftershock heard the whole story. So anyway, the bottom line is we're going to be moving in December, so keep your eye out for that. But in the meantime, the Papillion Service Center for now is located on the corner of 72nd and Highway 370 across the street from the Shadow Lake Mall. So basically, if you want to drop by with those prepaid maintenance checkup certificates, this is the time to do it. You bought them when we were busy so you could bring them in when we were slow, right? We're slow. Bring them in. Each shop has an average, I think, of 5 open bench spots. So literally, you could all come in and we'll drop 5 computers and we'll have 5 more open spots. So bring them on in. Let's get those moving. Also, if you're having a nagging problem with your computer, this is a great time to bring it in. This is why we run sales on things like Endpoint right now. Because with that sale on Endpoint that ends today, you can bring it in. You can have us do a Schrock desk. You can buy it yourself from the website. You can save $60, get award-winning protection that's actually actively managed by the Schrock Innovations staff behind the scenes. It was hilarious because we had a customer that called us for support, and I just happened to see 2 alerts that came through that morning on his computer. There were two websites that tried to infect his computer, and Endpoint blocked them, and we get notifications when Endpoint blocks stuff. I'm working with the Schrock Interactive team to try to get you guys notifications so that when trust me, it would overwhelm you to see all the things that Endpoint blocks, all the attempted infections that try to get into a computer. Each of our customers running Endpoint rebuffs at least 4 attempts a day. Each a day. So that's 4. If you don't have Endpoint, 4 times a day, you're counting on substandard antivirus software to keep you safe. And with things like WannaCry flying around out there, Microsoft's now saying they have a ransomware-proof operating system, and guess what? You don't have it. So you still need Endpoint. So the bottom line is Symantec Endpoint on special, normally $160 for the first year. It's on special for $60 off. That takes it down to $99. Now, here's the thing. Renewals are $60 a year, which is actually less expensive. It's not purple, Si. Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. You can watch the video. Every shirt I wear in this light, whether it is red, black, or today gray, looks like it's purple. I don't understand it. I am like the regal purple man. I bet I'm going to wear a striped shirt, and it'll probably be purple prison stripes. But anyway, I digress. Endpoint on special. Now's the time to bring it in. If you have some reason to come to one of the shops, do it this weekend. Also, new builds. Last week I told you a little bit about a situation where we have some computers that we're having trouble with those ultimate upgrades, getting the laptops that weren't chip on board. We were able to get a pretty good number of them at one time that are not chip on board, and those are coming to our service centers right now. The hard drives aren't chip on board anyway. And those are on the way to the service centers now, so sit tight. I really appreciate your patience. Your computer is coming in. We'll have it to you real soon. 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. Let's go to Dale. Dale, how can I help you today on Compute This?
Hi, good morning.
Hey, how can I do? Or how can I do for you? I did not sleep a lot last night, so what can I do for you, Dale, and how are you?
Oh, fine. You're telling me the choppy audio coming over the analog KFAB radio is not due to a glitch, huh?
The what now?
I said the choppy audio coming over the KFAB radio isn't a technical glitch?
Yeah, if you've ever heard like a hard drive click, that's what my brain just did there. It was like, it came. Luckily, I do data recovery, and I was able to recover from the crash pretty quickly.
Well, I had to download a driver, and this is the first time I've ever had to deal with this type of file. It's a .rar.
Yeah, the RAR.
Anyway, and speaking of using tons of data, the link they had to connect you to download the software to unzip it or uncompress it.
Right.
I don't want to use it. It's got like umpteen zillion features and...
What did they recommend?
There's all kinds of other files. I just want to do one file. So do you have a recommendation of what would be just kind of a simple, for just the .rar type?
Gotcha. And what version of Windows are you running?
It's a Vista.
Okay. I believe Windows 10 does RAR natively.
Okay.
So you can open it just with Windows Explorer. That's great. Now, for Windows Vista, I would be remiss. You probably are aware, but I'm not going to lecture you.
I know. Yep.
But your computer is not safe. It's discontinued. For heaven's sake, don't use Internet Explorer. You can't use Chrome on Vista anymore because they don't update Chrome anymore for Vista either. So your only browser choice is now, I believe, Firefox for a industry standard browser. So anyway, bottom line is I recommend 7-Zip. You can get 7-Zip. It's free. It doesn't cost anything, unlike like WinRAR and stuff like that. There's always a cost, or WinZip, there's a cost. 7-Zip is open source. It's free. It's supported by Secure Updater. You can download it using your Secure Updater client if you're a Secure Updater subscriber. Install 7-Zip on your computer, and then you can just forget it's there. And if you don't, when it pops up when you install it, it'll say, what do you want it to manage all these types? You can uncheck the zip option, and Windows Vista will natively support the zip option for WinZip as well. So you should be good to go. All right. Thank you very much for the call, Dale. I got to jump to break here. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Chris and Jim, hang on the line. More of your calls coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations' line of modular computers last longer and perform better than those box store one-size-fits-all systems. When it's time to replace your computer, call Schrock at 934-9423.
Oh, it's not purple, Cy. Come on. The shirt is still purple whether the feed is working or not. I'm getting your voice, but the picture's frozen. Loanne, that was like they came in and there was a snatch and grab. They put a bag over my head and took me away, and the picture just stayed frozen. It's an NSA thing. I've since been re-educated, and I'm back now, so you can ensure that your Compute This is government approved at this point. Yay! All right, so who's got questions for me right now? We got 18 people watching live right now. We had a peak today of 24 live viewers, so that's pretty cool. I think the most we've ever had is 30-something. While we're in commercial break here, guys, if it's possible, if you would do this for me, if you could share this on your feeds right now, click the little share button, and you can write a quick post like, hey, you'll love listening to the show, or you can just share it and not write anything. That's perfectly cool, too. I don't want to ask for the moon here. If you share it with your friends, it causes the show to appear on their timelines that it's a live broadcast in process, and then they might join it as well. It's a really, really quick way for us to get the word out about Compute This and Schrock Innovations. One of the challenges that we have in media these days is that everything is so fragmented. It used to be I could put a radio show on the radio, I could get on 2 FM stations that have morning shows and get do endorsements like we do on the Cat, like where Steve Lundy talks about us on the Cat, and that would be enough to carry us through a market. We do that now in Omaha. We have KFAB. We have the Omaha Morning Blend on Mondays. I'm going to be up on the Morning Blend tomorrow at 9:25, a little earlier than normal, by the way. We're going to be talking about the the sale will be over, so we're going to talk about where is this thing? The Android infection story that we're going to go on here. We're going to talk about that Monday. But, it used to be I can do that. We do that in Omaha. And everywhere I go in Omaha, there are still people that have not even heard of Schrock Innovations, not even heard of it. So sharing it is really, really helpful because it helps us get the word out, gets just our name in front of people like, who's the Schrock Innovations place? And then all of a sudden they watch for a few minutes. They figure out we're a computer company. Yay. That's what we want. We're kind of like a plumber. You don't need us until you need us. And when you need us quick. So that's, unfortunately, we have to spend a lot of money being top of mind. So anyway, thanks for sticking with us on the program. I appreciate it. Thanks for your shares and thanks for your Google reviews last week. They meant a lot to me. And we're going back on. So here we go.
Alrighty, very energetic 80s riff there. All right, so we're doing the yard sale thing. My name's Thor Schrock, by the way. Schrock Innovations Computer Company, service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, and Papillion. 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. That's how you join the program. You can also email the show, Thor, Thor, at SchrockInnovations.com. All right, so this weekend was the neighborhood yard sale in my neighborhood. And I was out there helping the lovely Kimberly with the neighborhood yard sale. And, with our part of the neighborhood yards. I wasn't helping the whole neighborhood. I'm a nice guy, but I'm not that nice, One yard sale is more than enough for me. So we're out there, and we turn on the oldies station, and I'm hearing music from the 80s. And I was like, no, Like, I remember what I was doing when I was a kid the first time I heard that song. Oh, no. And I know you guys have probably experienced something similar to that. Everybody probably has at some point where you're just like, no, how did my music make it on the oldies station? Oh, that's terrible. Anyway, 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. So before we make it to the oldies station ourselves, let's jump in and talk to Chris. Chris, you're the next caller on the show today. How can I help you on Compute This?
Well, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. My question actually concerns my internet, Wi-Fi, along with my PlayStation 4 Bluetooth.
Okay.
So my Wi-Fi through Windstream is located in my outer receiver, whatever's on the main floor of my house.
Okay.
My PlayStation 4 is in the basement on the opposite side. And when the kids or myself are playing using the Bluetooth controllers, there's a lag issue with the controllers. Like they'll just kind of stop working for 10 or 12 seconds, and they kind of catch up again.
Oh, wow, 10 or 12 seconons?
Yeah, sometimes it can be 3, sometimes it can be, up to
I'm just
10
imagining
seconds.
you trying to play like Call of Duty, and you're just frozen,
exactly
you're
what
getting
it is.
smoked,
Yes.
Oh my goodness! Like a half second. When people talk about delays in Call of Duty, it's like they warn you not to use a wireless mouse when you play because the fraction of a second delay caused by a wireless mouse that's humanly not perceptible is enough to get you smoked. So if you're standing there for 12 seconds, you're pretty much you're a shield for the guy standing behind you.
That is exactly correct. So I have heard and seen message boards that there might be a hardware issue with the PlayStation 4, and I've also heard that I'm only running 3 megs through my internet provider, 3 megs a second.
Yeah.
That a route or an extender might help push that signal to the basement to help with that. Any advice or?
Okay, so what we want to figure out first is you mentioned you're on Windstream. Love our friends at Windstream. They send me letters in my Lincoln Service Center literally once a month saying, what can we do to get you to recommend Windstream over Spectrum? Tell us. I mean, they have offered me free internet. They have offered me commissions on everyone who signs up from the radio show. I mean, they've offered everything. Windstream is a great company. They have great prices for the type of internet they offer. They offer digital subscriber lines. Difference between a DSL line and a cable modem. Cable modem, it's like a water tap. The more people who are on in the neighborhood, the lower the water pressure is for everybody. But there's a lot of water pressure, so it's usually not a problem. On the other hand, but if everybody flushes the internet at the same time and you're in the shower, or if you're playing Call of Duty and everybody flushes the internet at the same time, you get a cold shower. On the other hand, Windstream is a digital subscriber line. You have a dedicated line to your house that gives you the amount of speed that they're giving you. Unfortunately, the amount of speed that they give you is considerably lower than what you would get on Spectrum. Considerably lower. Now, granted, you're going to pay Spectrum more for the higher speed. So it's a trade-off depending on what you want to do. So if, for example, someone in the house elsewhere was streaming while you were trying to play Call of Duty, streaming a TV show or something, especially an HD TV show, that could be the root of your problem.
Okay.
So the thing you'd want to do is when you start noting, have a laptop or something with you.
Okay.
When you have a lag, when you start to experience the 12-second lag time, have a speed test website. Yeah, I think you can just go to speedtest.net, and you can actually test the speed of your internet connection. When you're having that lag, at that moment, click on the speed test thing to go, and see what the speed comes back at. I'll guarantee you it's not going to come back at 3.
Okay.
So something that could be the problem. Now the other thing is, I hate to state the obvious, but I have to go through the obvious because if I don't, it'll be like, does your house have power? Oh, shoot. Yeah, there is a power outage. I didn't realize that. Thanks for your help, Thor. You're amazing. Like, oh, my gosh. So, number one, have you changed the batteries in your controllers or recharged them recently?
Yes.
Okay. Number two, how far away are the controllers from the console?
We're within 5 or 6 feet.
Yeah, if you're under, when you said, unless it was going to be 50 feet, you're fine,
no,
it's for fine. So, 5 feet, not a problem. With that said, if there is a hardware problem with the console, I'm sure Sony is aware of it, and usually those things can be tweaked or changed by software. So the only time a range extender is going to help you is if your console is an extended distance away from your router. If you can move that router to a phone line that's close enough to the Sony that you can hook it up with a cable, like an Ethernet cable, that is going to be a much more stable and fast connection. You're going to get rid of a lot of latency because for Call of Duty, you already are having a ton of latency. You're getting latency from the controller to the console. Even if it was working perfectly, there's latency there. Latency is the pause in the time you press the button on your controller and it sends a signal to the console. Then that console receives the signal, interprets the signal, and then over the wireless sends a burst to the wireless router, which again gives you more latency before it goes out to the internet. So you already have, as far as Call of Duty goes, you already have a ton of latency that's causing you to perform. You could, if you're just doing okay right now, you could be the next Call of Duty Rockstar if you were on a wired connection with a wired controller. I'm just saying.
There you go.
It could be. So that's honestly, check the internet speed. I'm guessing that's the problem.
Okay.
When we do Schrock desks with customers, and you're in Lincoln, right?
Well, in Wahoo. So
okay, gotcha. When we do Schrock desks, with our good friend Mike in Wahoo, or who calls the show all the time, or we do one with in Lincoln, someone who has Windstream. We have to download Endpoint, for example. It's like a 246 megabyte download. Literally, it can take 4 hours, depending on if they're on a Windstream connection. And on a Spectrum connection, it takes about 2 minutes, 60 seconds. That'd be 3 minutes. About 3 minutes to download. So, I mean, that gives you an idea of the speed differential. And the customers who are getting Endpoint aren't paying like I am. I'm paying Cox in Omaha here like $300 a month for like the pinnacle internet connection. And they still data cap me, those sweet mother of Abraham Lincoln. If there was an option, I would take it. But there's not. And so I stay. But so that's what's going on, Chris. I bet you dollars to donuts that's what's going on. So see if you can get it wired directly to the router. See if that helps. Number two, if it's the internet connection speed, Windstream does have packages that you can get for very little additional per month that allow you to increase the speed of your connection. They don't go up as high as Spectrum does, but they can increase the speed. You might look into that too.
They did say that there was an upgrade that I could go to 10 megs per second. And do you think that would be like the first, like maybe try that, and if it stops the issue, then it depends on what do they want to charge you for it. I didn't look into it yet. But,
so I mean, it's something you got to live with. If it doesn't fix the game thing, You know, it's like if it's going to cost you an extra $25 a month, then you're like, come on, I don't know to play Call of Duty. But on the other hand, I would do the speed test first, because if you do a speed test while you're having that lag and you find that, oh my gosh, my speed is phenomenal, then it's probably an in-house issue.
And
it's
hardware.
It's a hardware issue. And then so the next step is we eliminate the wireless network by hardwiring it.
Okay.
And if that solves the problem, then we know it's the wireless. The wireless router you're using, is it one that you bought, or did Windstream provide it?
It was a black Windstream box that they give that plugs into my DSL line. So
don't tell anyone I said this, but between you and I, go buy your own router.
Okay.
We recommend the TP-Link router. We keep them in stock in Lincoln. That they run about $150. But the thing is, the routers that are built in, and it's not just Windstream, but the routers that are built into the modems are generally low transmission strength.
Okay.
So they're single antenna, 150 megabit units. If you get the two antenna system, all of a sudden you've doubled your speed to 300 megabit.
Okay.
And I'll guarantee you that your PlayStation 4 can handle that. So you literally would double the throughput between the PlayStation and the router wirelessly. So if you end up wiring it and it works, then you could still go wireless. Just get a better wireless router.
Wireless router. Okay.
Alrighty?
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Hey, no
Have a great
sweat.
day.
Thanks for the call, Chris. I appreciate it. And some poor listener out there is like, what is Call of Duty? Sounds like, no, what is that? It's a game. It's a game where you're a soldier and you go fight. 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. Jim, you're next up on the show. What can I do for you on Compute This today?
Yes, sir, thanks. I have Yahoo that I use for my email, and they always want to get my cell phone number so they can send me a text message in case I forget my password.
Yep.
Do you think I can trust them with my cell phone number and not have somebody else start sending me ads?
Well, you trust them with your email right now, so trusting them with your cell phone number is not a whole different thing. You know, the thing is, what they want to do is they want to enable two-factor authentication. And what two-factor authentication is you used to having a username and a password where you log in, but Yahoo has been compromised so many times. Their security is like old, nasty, moldy Swiss cheese. And so there's so many holes in it. So two-factor authentication, if they see somebody signing into your Yahoo account, let's say you buy a new computer, and you sign into Yahoo from the new computer, they've never seen that computer before, they can say, let us send you a text message to make sure that you're really who you say you are. And it will actually increase the security of your Yahoo account. So in this case, I would recommend trusting them with it. The return is far greater than the risk of them losing it in a security breach.
Okay, so you would go for it.
Yeah, Yahoo is not going to use it for advertising purposes. They're going to use it for security purposes.
Well, would they sell it, though, to somebody else? That's my concern.
Well, everything at Yahoo is for sale, including the whole company. So it's quite possible. If they sell the company, of course they're going to sell it to somebody else. But the thing is they have terms of use, and the terms of use currently say that they're not going to use cell phone numbers for that purpose. Now, of course, they can change the terms of use anytime they want. But like I said, there's a risk there, but the risk is super small because it's considered really, really, really bad form in the advertising industry to advertise directly via text message to people who have not opted in for those alerts.
Well, I'm talking about others that they might sell it to some other company unrelated to computers, and they would.
Right, but then those people would be having very, very bad form. So, in other words, what I'm saying is, we at Schrock we do robocalls when endpoint renewals are coming. So if you buy endpoint a year from now, you got to renew it. So we'll do a robocall saying, "Hey, it's time to renew your endpoint."
Which, by the way, I think is a good idea. If you're doing that.
Well, because you guys like it because you want that communication.
Yes.
Now imagine. And here's the other thing that's hilarious. We've joked about this in the store before. We could probably robocall the entire city of Omaha and tell them that their endpoint is expiring, and better than 20% of them would call us back and want to renew it, even though they never had endpoint. But 80% of those people would curse our name for giving them an unsolicited robocall. And so generally businesses won't do it because the damage that you do is far greater than the return on investment that you get. So we don't mind calling customers. We give you an option to opt out if you don't want the calls, but it opts you out of all calls. So no maintenance checkup sale alerts, no endpoint antivirus expiration alerts, no secure updater alerts, no nothing, no virus alert. If there's a really bad virus, we'll send a robocall sometimes. So yeah, you don't get any of that stuff if you opt out, but you don't want the communication. So we give you the option to do that. Same thing with email. You can click the unsubscribe link and you don't get emails anymore either, of any kind. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. The risk of someone giving you unsolicited phone traffic is so much lower. Number one, it's a cell phone, so robocalling cell phones without permission is actually illegal. You can get in serious trouble with the feds for doing that. You're supposed to filter out cell phones from your robocalls unless you intend to call one and you have permission to call one. So there's all kinds of caveats there, but the bottom line is I would go ahead and give it to them.
Okay. Well, thank you, Thor.
Hey, no sweat. This is what we do. All righty. 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. Before we go to break, Android malware. If you have an Android phone, so if you have like a Samsung or a Nexus or a Motorola, a touchscreen phone that runs the Android operating system, I'm going to tell you, one of the reasons that phones typically don't need high levels of security, it's because they have an approach called a walled garden approach. In the walled garden approach, to get software on your phone, you have to go to an app store to install the software. For me, as a publisher, to get if let's say I wanted to make a Schrock Innovations app, which is on the drawing board, we're trying to figure out why would people download it. Like, I suppose you could watch Compute This there, but no, seriously, why would you download the Schrock Innovations app? What's in it for you? So that's one of the big problems we've been trying to figure out, because we wouldn't have to robocall you for your endpoint anymore. We could just put it in the app, and then it would remind you. That'd be kind of cool, right? So there's some things we could do. But anyway, let's say we were going to make an app. We make our app. We submit it to Google, who screens it for security. And then once it's passed their security screen, they put it up in the store. Once it's up in the store, then anybody can download it and install it on their computer. So there is an app called Color Block, but it's spelled the European way, Color. Couleur. Color Block. But Color Block. If you install the game Color Block, it's a bunch of blocky colors on the screen that you arrange in the Tetris-like shapes to win or whatever. You might notice that's missing from your phone today, because Color Block did something that no one else has ever done before and exposed a weakness in the walled garden approach. What they did is they released a clean app, just like we would do, a perfectly clean app. They sent it out to the marketplace. There you go. Everything looks great. App looks good. All right, so now that we've got it all taken care of, enjoy Color Block. It's wonderful. So Color Block goes out, and once they have, let's say, 50,000 people downloaded this before they figured out what was going on. Let's say we get 5,000 users, right? Now we put out an update for Color Block that when you update it on your phone, also installs malware on your phone. That allows us, it installs a backdoor in your phone that allows us to come back later anytime we want. And we let that go until the vast majority of our 5,000 Color Block users have infected their phones, which we can tell by how many of them have upgraded. And then we put out another update back to the clean version of Color Block. Right? We just changed the version number. And then everybody updates, and then the nasty version goes away. By the time somebody reports this, like a security research firm reports this to Google, Google goes and checks it out. They see a clean version of Color Block. And they say, well, there's nothing wrong here. Somebody's squirrely somewhere, whatever. And then once Color Block gets 5,000 or 10,000 more people, they do it again. And so they finally got caught doing it. And the backdoors are still installed on all the phones. Even though the Color Block app has now since been removed, those backdoors are still on the phone. So if you installed the Color Block app, you need to back up your data on your phone and do a factory reset. That's the only way to fix this. In the meantime, some people have asked me, Thor, this highlights the reason why you should probably start running some kind of security software on your phone. But phones don't have a lot of resources, so we don't want to load something that's really bulky on there that scans all the time. You don't need that level of protection yet. We just need to guard that walled garden entrance to make sure that nothing comes through that gate that's infected. And so there's a great program to do that called Lookout. You can get it on iPhone and Android. They don't pay us anything for recommending it. It's what I run on my phone. Lookout is the app. But if you install Lookout on your phone, it'll scan all the apps on your phone and tell you if you're safe. There's a free version and a paid version. You don't really need the paid version, but get the free version. And then you'll be able to make sure that kind of stuff doesn't happen to you. But that is the first time that we have seen a widespread virus infiltrate a walled garden approach on a phone. So for those of you who've always called in and asked, can my phone get infected? The answer is yes, it can. But to do that, you have to let the infection in. You have to actually allow it into your phone by doing an update or installing an app from a publisher you don't know, which is pretty much all of them. So grab Lookout, just be aware of that. 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. We're going to take our final break of the show. Deborah, your call is coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations is Nebraska's award-winning service leader. When you have a problem with your computer, call Schrock at 934-9.
Hello, hello. All right, there we go. We're enabled. All right, I noticed we're freezing a little bit again, so I don't know what the deal is with the Wi-Fi in here today, or maybe it's my laptop. I don't know. My laptop has been acting up on me a little, so we'll see. I can see on the screen on my laptop, I'm getting a nice smooth video feed with a really shiny face, and on Facebook.com, it appears to be locked up a little bit. Brian Olson says, just wear a purple shirt next week and we can see what that color looks like. You know, that's a good idea. I do have a purple polo I could wear. I will wear my purple shirt next week and we'll see maybe it'll look black, or maybe it'll look purple. I don't know. Everyone's going to think all I have is purple shirts in my wardrobe. All right. Let's see. Yeah, Thomas, you're right. The guy that was running 10 megabits per second with his Windstream account is woefully slow. So 10 to 20 is usually needed for a game. You're right. Yeah, shed the console game and just join the PC gamer master race. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You know that when you play Call of Duty and you're playing on a computer, if you're playing against people on Xboxes or PlayStations, they segment all those populations. So Xbox users are only playing other console game users, and PC users are only playing other PC users, because your ability to be precise with a mouse and a keyboard is so much greater than you can with a 2-joystick controller. If you've ever tried to aim a gun with one of those things. Now, my son somehow, we don't let him, he's 10, so we don't let him play Call of Duty. I know, we're freaky old people like that. All of his friends like to play Call of Duty. They're like, oh, look, he ripped his spine out. Oh, that kind of thing. And, we let Jake play Halo when he was 6. And then one time he jumped on my back and kind of popped me in the back of the neck like he was stabbing me with a knife. And like, yeah, I got you, Dad. Birthday mode. Birthday mode is when their head explodes and confetti bursts. And at that point, we decided that he probably isn't ready for this yet. Now he's like, can I please play Halo? We're like, no, not till you're 13. It's T for teen. You're 10. You got to wait 3 more years. So anyway, thank you, ratings, for giving us an out. But nevertheless, the thing with the multiplayer games is that you got to have a good internet connection. You got to reduce the latency. You've got to get rid of the wireless keyboard, wireless mouse stuff. If you're going to seriously play those games. If you're just playing for enjoyment, it's no big deal. But you want to get rid of the latency. You don't want to be on a wireless connection. You want to be on a wired connection. All those things will appreciably help your gaming possibilities. So for those of you who are first-person shooter game players, these tips brought to you by Schrock Innovations, who asks you to share this post and give us a positive review on Google. I love your Facebook reviews, but please give us good reviews on Google because those help our search results. All right, wrapping up the program. No Aftershock today. Sorry, guys. I got to get to the garden walk. Here we go.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back for the final segment of Compute This. 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. Deborah, you're the next caller on the program. You're the caller and the next caller. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Hi, Thor. I was just wondering, you had said at the first of your show something about seeing a green padlock or whatever for safety. Yeah, I usually don't see that kind of thing. I'm looking for an HTTPS. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's the same thing. Okay. Yeah, so if you see the HTTP is the insecure version, and HTTPS stands for HTTP secure.
Okay.
And different browsers will report it in different ways. Firefox puts a little green padlock up there. Chrome will put a green block to the left of it, like that says secure. Mm-hmm. They all treat it differently. Okay. But the bottom line is that you're gonna be okay as long as you've got that secure socket layer on there.
Okay, and then how do you know? We have a couple of different email addresses and stuff between my husband and I, and if you use Google, will it do it automatically that it goes to that secure socket layer?
Oh yeah, if you go to gmail.com, it will send you to the secure socket. It didn't used to do that. It used to be a setting because the problem with secure socket layers is it actually slows down your internet connection a bit. Mm-hmm. And so when you end up doing that stuff, you want to make sure that that you're on the secure socket layer. But basically, security is winning out now because the level of security everywhere has gone up because of all the recent exploits and everything. So it's better. All these companies would rather have you on the secure socket side, have a slightly slower connection, and not get a black eye in the media from having a security breach.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a great afternoon.
You too.
All right. If you want to sneak in for that 25, you could win the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate just by being a part of the program. You can still get a call in 402-558-1110, 800-543-1110. Have to be pretty quick, though. All right. Emails. Johnny C. says, all right, he's got a pop-up DOS window. Yes, Semantic Icon says that I'm protected, and it just did a system scan. He says, Thor, in the last week or two, I noticed a DOS prompt window popping up for just a second, not long enough to read it or exit out. Also, in the same time, Windows Defender has re-enabled itself, even though I'm a proud endpoint user. What's up with that? All right, here's what's up with that, Johnny C. All right, so here's what's going on. When you first turn on your computer, if you turn off your computer or you have a laptop where you shut the lid, that disconnects your connection to the internet, which means that your semantic endpoint can no longer download updates. And Windows Defender will automatically turn itself on if your antivirus software is out of date, because Windows Defender doesn't know when it expires, so it's assuming if you're out of date, you're expired. Then all of a sudden, Endpoint, after a couple minutes of being reconnected to the internet, downloads its updates and installs them, and is suddenly up to date again. So Windows Defender then turns itself off, and Endpoint takes over. So that's what's going on there. Johnny got you in the drawing. All right, David, renewing Secure Updater. I'm tapping on it here. How do I renew Secure Updater? I've been getting a pop-up reminder, but it goes away before you can click it. Well, that's not good. All right. First of all, you should get an email in your inbox asking you to renew Secure Updater. If not, you can log into your Secure Updater account. Go to secureupdater.com. Click on the My Account in the top right corner and log in. If you forgot your password, do a password reset or call us and we can reset it for you. And then you'll be able to see all the computers you have on Secure Updater and get them renewed. Last question. Do I have 30 seconds yet, don't I? 30 seconds? Oh, yeah. Okay, good. All right. Next one here. Oh, that's it, because 2 were from Johnny, and I covered 2 in one email. So there we go. All right. Paul on Facebook writes, Thor, can you get the endpoint deal online, or do I have to bring the computers in? Great question, Paul. If you go to SchrockInnovations.com, you can shop right on our website. In the top left corner, you will see the shop icon, and you go down to specials, and you'll find endpoint right there. You can purchase